The first step to changing a tire is to remove the lug nuts. You might have to take a screwdriver or a pry bar like this, and you might have a cover covering them. It's best to do this step first because you want the weight of the vehicle to be on the ground, because the lug nuts are going to be pretty hard to get off usually. But if they are a bit hard to get off, just do what I do and go ahead and put your foot on one side to give you some leverage and pull up with the other. Judo kick. Be a lot easier. Now this step can be one of the most difficult. Some lug nuts will actually swell onto the bolt and make them very hard to get off. They also make them very hard for you to get your tool on there. It's always a good idea to kind of maybe take a look at your lug nuts and make sure that they're okay. From here we just go ahead and jack up the vehicle. I'll link up top here my video for how to properly use a jack. Lift the vehicle just so the tire barely leaves the ground. Now you can go ahead and remove the rest of your lug nuts. Just make sure to leave 2 of the lug nuts still threaded on a couple of threads, and they might be very hard to get off. So here's a little trick that I call the donkey kick. It works really well, but when you're doing this, make sure that your vehicle is secure and it's not going to fall. Now all you have to do is just simply remove the last 2 lug nuts, and then for a little bit of an extra safety bonus, I always like to take the tire and push it under the car, either under a control arm like that or under a pinch weld. And if you're not on the side of the road, this can actually be a great opportunity to inspect things like brakes, suspension, and steering components. Look for things that may be broken or appear wet, as they could be leaking. So if you are on the side of the road, the main thing that you want to do if you're going to get a spare is make sure that your car isn't going to fall down. Maybe look around for some pieces of wood or even a couple of bricks to just put under your car if you can't leave your tire under there. Not to mention the fact that it's very dangerous. You could possibly come back to your car sitting on top of your jack with no way to retrieve your jack. An easier way to get a heavier tire on is to use a pry bar like this. Then I just want to push it up against the hub, making sure that it's flat as possible. Then just take 2 lug nuts, kind of like you did when you were taking them off, and I like to do this little thing where I spin it and actually get the momentum of the tire going and then push back the other way. It seems to help a lot. You want to do this while the vehicle is up completely off the ground. Then you can go ahead and put the remaining lug nuts on. You have to do it this fast though or it won't work right. No, I'm just kidding. Then what I suggest doing is lowering the jack just until the tires touch. But you do want a little bit of the weight on the tire. This will ensure that you can properly tighten the lug nuts thoroughly. I would recommend tightening them with a lot of force, but not so much that you feel like you're Superman. And then obviously remove jack and make sure to put your hubcap or your wheel cover back on. Now if you're running a spare like one of those little donuts, make sure you get to a qualified tire shop, and I would not drive over 45 miles an hour on one of those. So before I end this, I'd like to reiterate some safety issues when changing a tire, specifically on the side of the road or motorway when you have a flat. First, if there is still enough tire left, meaning it's not completely gone, you can drive away very slowly to get to more solid ground, but I wouldn't go too far. Also, be careful when the car is raised on the jack. Maybe have passengers exit the vehicle away from the roadway to alleviate any movement of the vehicle. But mainly, stay out from under the vehicle at all costs. If it gets to that point, just call a roadside service or a tow company. Your life is not worth a tire. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have a good one. And please go ahead and subscribe so you can keep up with all of my automotive essentials. There are a series of videos much like this one, short, sweet, and to the point, packed with as much information as I can possibly give you. Yet again, thank you guys, and have a good one, and good luck out there.
Coffee. Find your body coffee. Not a body coffee. Not a ball coffee. Not a water favorite.